Toon 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 Jam. Toon 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 Jam. Toon 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 Jam. Toon 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 Jam. Toon 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 Jam. Toon Jam. Toon Jam. Hello, you jammy fellows, and welcome once again to Toon Jam. I'm Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we're talking The Tick.
Oh, yes.
Finally. Finally got round to it. Little bit of background info. The Tick is an animated series, believe it or not, that ran from 1994 to 1996 for 3 seasons on Fox Kids.
Ah.
That old classic. It's been syndicated various times and through different networks since, and has accumulated something of a cult following, having been released both on VHS and DVD, which has added to this following.
Yeah.
A live action series was aired in 2001 and again in 2016, which is still running today. Season 2 was just released recently, the other week. So yeah, that's like your very basic background. It's based on a comic by Ben Edlund, sort of in another thing in the wake of Ninja Turtles, where they were picking up comic properties, indie comic properties, merchandising the shoes out of them, and and then creating animated series. But this is regarded as one of the better ones, and not just another
clone.
Yes,
yeah.
Which is nice because I don't want to have to watch another clone.
Too many.
We'll get there eventually, though. So let's start with our first segment, memoirs. Ah, yes. So, Mr. J-Man, what are your memories of The Tick?
Memoirs of the Tick. Well, I do remember seeing it from time to time on the old television.
Yes.
I just remember it being very strange as a young boy.
Yeah.
I was just like, I enjoyed the characters because they're all pretty zany and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
The Tick, I think he confused me a little when I was younger because like he was like this big superhero guy,
Yeah.
but he wasn't very clever. Whereas like usually it's the other way around.
That's like his staple sort of feature is that he's ridiculously strong but ridiculously stupid.
Yeah. And so I was like, that always confused me.
Yeah.
Like I wondered if there was ever going to be like a story where like he got smarter, or like
Just
the
waiting
accident
for the
that had
time,
hurt his brain
Yeah.
it got repaired or something.
Well, that's the thing. As a kid, I suppose like origin stories are very important.
Yeah.
And The Tick doesn't have one. You never know why he's that way. So there's a certain amount of curiosity behind it.
Yeah.
I remember The Tick. I really enjoyed it when I was a kid, and it's possibly one of the first superhero cartoons I really got into when I'm looking back. There's like Spider-Man and Batman and stuff, but I think this was the one I seemed to enjoy the most. I think just because he just looks dead cool. He's big and blue. Blue was my favourite colour, so naturally you're like, oh well, that's the main facet of a superhero must be his colour. But it was funny as well, and it had all these, like say, so many different characters, and every villain was as ridiculous as the last, or if not more so. So yeah, I really enjoyed it as a kid. Used to watch it as often as I could, but you know that's not always that often. It's just whenever it's on, innit?
Yeah, that's it.
You remember watching it.
You're not in control, are you?
I hadn't seen all the episodes, and there's not many of them, is there?
No.
Like 30 or something. So yeah, I have seen them now.
Yeah.
I've watched them fairly recently, well, a few years ago. So a bit memories are still
Vivid.
there. Yeah, vivid.
Right.
Yes,
Clear.
Absolutely. So today we are watching the episode Evil Sits Down a Moment.
Yeah.
I chose this one because I remember it being a particularly ridiculous episode.
Yeah.
So let's go into our
playthrough.
Rewind.
Playthrough. So evil sits down for a moment. This is about furniture. This episode, really.
Yeah.
We start off with you sort of see the Tick and Arthur and Deflated Mouse, like they're shopping.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's Deflated Mouse is like a spoof of Batman. Isn't it? It's like a superhero that doesn't actually really want to be a superhero, but he just likes the glory of being a superhero.
Yeah, and he immediately seems from this episode quite vain.
Because when they ring him, he's like, "Hold on a minute, is this some sort of superhero activity?" And they're like, "No, we just need to buy some furniture." And he's like, "Oh,
I'm in." Yeah.
So he's like dead flashy and thinks he's cool and
clearly into fashion because he knows all the different types of furnishings that they're doing. And he's just like, "Oh yeah, some good wood on this, some good mahogany interior." And so they're literally just furniture shopping, and he bumps into this woman that's in there. She seems to be in some sort of like
military outfit.
Military garb, like, and he immediately kind of sort of gets entranced by her.
Love at first sight, so to speak.
Definitely. And so they sort of exchange some, like, a few words, but then he seems completely obsessed with her, basically.
Yeah.
And it's not long until they figure out that she's not on the good side. So the furniture starts. Tick notices like a table running away, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't realise that the technology had got that far yet." But Arthur realises that that's not what tables are meant to do, and then suddenly all the furniture's kind of piling, like running away, to come to life, and we find out that the woman behind it is the one that Deflated Mouse was.
The Ottoman.
Yeah, the Ottoman.
The Ottoman Empire.
She was like, the rights of
funny.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Because we used to have an Ottoman.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
It's still, regardless of the fact that she's a bad character, Deflated Mouse decides to book a date with her later on.
He's truly entranced.
Yeah, he's obsessed with her. She runs away with all the furniture, which has sort of basically come to life and packed itself into the back of a van.
Yeah.
And she runs off with it all. And so they try and hatch a plan to try and take her down. So they're looking for other places in the city that have got furniture.
Sell furniture.
Yeah. And they come across like a big hardware store and try and crack down on her.
Yeah.
And so basically Tick falls through the roof, being big, bulky and not very clever, and they sort of stumble upon another furniture factory. And this time she's kind of got a secret weapon in store, which is the world's most comfortable chair. Which is like a big green like armchair. And once people are sat on it, there's just no way they can get off it.
Yeah, they need to be thrown out of it.
Yeah,
because
it's so comfortable.
It's so comfortable they can't move.
And so like a battle ensues, and she sort of keeps using that on different people to try and get them to stay there. And once Tick goes in there, you can sort of see his fantasy dreams appear.
It's like fairies like massaging his head and stuff.
So they're kind of all caught up, and then Deflated Mouse ends up like actually going on a date with her on a magic carpet somewhere outside, where they're just having a little romantic dinner together. But once she mentions that they're eventually going to get married and rule together, he's immediately out.
His fear of commitment becomes too strong,
and he is no longer on board with this lady, and so. Now the whole team is against her.
Yeah.
And they end up using a trap in order to get her into the most comfortable chair in the world.
Yeah.
And she's bested by her own tools, really.
By her own tools.
And that's pretty much what goes down.
There you go. That's it.
Toon Jam. Toon Jam.
Yeah, so that's it in very short.
Yeah. I mean, it's got quite a few. There's quite a lot going on in this episode.
There is, yeah.
It's well formed, I would say.
Yeah.
First thing I want to mention is how much I like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because the music was proper there's not really anything. It was characteristic for the show.
Yeah.
Like the sort of the jazzy organs and sort of the bombastic brass that sort of match the Tick and stuff. But there's a bit where, you know, the bit where they're sneaking into the second furniture store on the roof, and it's like dead espionage when you see Deflated Mouse on the roof, and then all of a sudden you hear these massive trumpets and the Tick like bounding across the roofs and just like cracks the floor and like Deflated Mouse just like, I think I wrote it down, he's like, Tick, come on man, stay cool. And the Tick just falls through the ceiling.
It's very that good. Much effort.
But it was just good that the soundtrack was spot on for that moment as well, and for most of it was dead good.
There's loads of like little bits that they put in that you sort of like you might not be paying attention to it, but it sort of like amps it up. Like when American Made turns up and stuff, and like it kind of turns into like there's little national anthem bits that keep coming in the background.
Just like Liberty tunes and stuff like that. It was dead. She's funny as well. An actual maid. With just American flags, and she just always throws her shoes about. I swear she's just always missing people with her shoes, and they just stick in a wall, the heel, like stilettos. But there's so many characters. And it was kind of like when I didn't know what episode to pick, because what is a good example of these? So you get to see loads of characters, but I remembered this one being funny, and it's good because you get to see Deflated Mouse, who's a pretty cool character, American Made as well. But there's all sorts of good ones that we sort of missed out on. There's, I think is it the Silver Bullet or Bullet Man, something like that, and Fire Me Boy. His sidekick, who just fires a cannon and shoots him out. But he always does it at the start of an episode, and then by the end of the episode he'll just land somewhere, and it's just pointless. Like he does it in so many episodes. That was, I didn't know if he'd be in there. Quite like the Breadmaster, who's a baker, a villainous baker. Chair-faced Chippendale.
Oh yeah, of course.
A man with a chair for a face, which is sort of a furniture theme. Obviously that's it.
They're all really
plays a large part in Ben Udley.
He's obviously a connoisseur of
furniture. Elseed. He's like a flower, isn't he? Sunflower. Dinosaur Neil.
Dinosaur Neil.
There's loads. There's so many, and they're all dead weird.
They're not like.
There's not a single normal.
No.
Like I suppose the most normal one is the Terror, but he's like a Golden Age villain, but he's also the oldest man ever. So even that has got something stupid
bizarre,
to it. It's proper. It is like funny at all angles. But it doesn't feel unrelenting. It's you can take it all in and appreciate it. But then more watches, you will notice stuff. It's well layered.
Because it's a very particular like type of humour, isn't it? Like that. I guess it's got like a weird crowd almost, because like kids would probably like still enjoy it because it's still like action packed.
Well, that's it. And it's still it's got like funny bits that everyone can appreciate. But there's a lot of the stuff, just the stuff he says. There's the nonsense he comes out with, like at the end where he gives his little nonsensical. He always does like a sort of wrap up at the end, where he's like, "What we've learnt today, chum," and he does that whole thing about 3 things beginning with C. They've all got the letter C in it, except for one of them.
Except for marriage. So it doesn't even make sense.
No, but it's just so stupid. That, that's where that comedy sort of is.
So it does a really good job of like pulling apart like the tropes from other superheroes. And then completely turning them on its head, because there is always there was usually that kind of that wrap up, like I've learned something today. But like Tick's version just doesn't make any sense.
It's just so warped nonsense. But I think that is a really good thing about it, is that it is essentially a superhero spoof. And it does have some things that are really obvious, like Deflated Mouse and stuff, but they do it in a way that Deflated Mouse isn't just a copy off Batman. He's still a character, and you if you watch it enough, you forget that that's even the joke. So, which is good, really, because it's sort of a character in his own right.
Yeah.
But then every now and again you'll remember that's the joke.
Yeah.
He's just like this ridiculous man with a bat's like his giant ears.
Yeah.
And his nostrils like bat nostrils and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just funny.
Because he was funny in this. Like he's really smooth talking, and he's just like got that kind of like weird.
Afraid of commitment.
Yeah. Like his face
he's
completely
just like
dropped when she said marriage.
did you say marriage? He's just a proper general douchebag, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the stereotypical male douchebag.
Oh yeah.
That is.
It's like he's that alpha that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Like.
That does nothing. Like he's incompetent in every way, but somehow still likable.
That's it. Like why he's decided to be a superhero.
Yeah.
Is like anyone's. He's just kind of fallen into it.
Because that's it. He doesn't like they're like he does fancy this villain, and they're all telling him
like,
don't. This is a villain.
Yeah.
Like Tick's like, this spells trouble with a capital trub.
Yeah.
And he just sort of walks off like,
trouble
with a capital trub.
Like he's just not bothered about it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some good quotes. I think there's a bit at the end that really made me laugh when the villain, she's talking about growing up and how she sort of became the Ottoman.
Yeah.
And she says like she had no friends. The only friends I had were furniture.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
And she's like, I was furniture. Like, just like I was a coffee table until
I was 14 or something.
It's like what?
It's just funny. Like
there's loads of super stuff.
I mean the chair as well. The super comfy chair. That's just such a ridiculous idea.
There's a whole bit, isn't there, where there's like the guy who was in the chair for like years has like finally escaped its grasp.
And now he works in the museum.
Yeah.
That video sort of, they've filmed an experiment of him.
Yeah.
And they were like, now stand up from the chair. And he's like, no, I never want to leave. And they just film for years.
Yeah.
He's still there. They don't pull him out or anything. It's just pure. And I was that man.
Yeah. Now he's like dead old.
And they're all clapping. Like,
yeah. It's such a weird idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got that sort of that 90s cartoon feel of like, where do you get all these ideas?
Yeah,
from?
just stupid. But it feels a bit more. I don't know. It's more believable in a way.
Yeah.
Like you don't ever think like, "What? This is so ridiculous."
Yeah.
Well, you kind of do, but not in a way that's just like, you've lost me.
Yeah.
Like just there's like the bit, the bit where they first like the fight in the furniture.
Yeah.
And there's that chest of drawers that's just like punching one of them, just one drawer at a time. Does. With stuff like that, and you just sort of chuckling away at it. Yeah. But I'm just trying to think of examples. I suppose like Earthworm Jim, when we watched that. It was just sometimes you were like, oh man, this is ridiculous.
Like it takes you out of it almost.
Yeah, it's just so gag heavy and like almost like they're just going opposite directions with them. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but this felt far more stable.
Yeah, like it makes sense within its own rules. Like it doesn't stray too far out from itself. Like it all kind of fits in its own weird way.
Yeah, exactly. It was more. Just more comfortable to watch.
Yeah.
And I love the world. They create a really good world with the Tick, and there's the fact that they're like everyone is a superhero or supervillain.
Yeah.
So it's just you don't know like the fact that you didn't know she was a villain till she started stealing on the page, because it's just so normal that someone could be walking around in a superhero outfit. It's just like not a problem, and that's what's so good. You can have unlimited amount of characters, no matter what.
That is really cool.
In just this place that they've called the City. Usually there's some crappy name, but this is just the City.
The City.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's definitely fun to watch. Like, I just there's loads of other bits as well. Like I enjoyed the aeroplane announcement.
Yeah, I wrote that down as well. Yeah. It's like, sorry, if you look ahead of you, you will see some superheroes floating.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just like as if it's a tour bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another kind of part of the world where it's just like, yeah, that probably happens. Like,
Yeah, that's
just
a
like,
sign.
yeah, there's just some more weird people doing some weird
it's
stuff.
still the city.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, really, the Tick, though the Tick is ridiculous,
Yeah.
to them it can't be as ridiculous as we see him.
Yeah.
He must only be. I mean, Arthur is just the only normal person, isn't he, in this world, which must be a waking nightmare. Like, every day must be what is going. You're the only normal person in an insane world.
Yeah.
But I suppose we all feel like that sometimes. So that's part of the satire of the show, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like for living in that world, like I guess Tick's not that weird.
No.
Like
he is pretty weird. The stuff he says is weird.
Yeah.
But
I suppose there's other weirdos out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting a giant cow that shoots fire out of its udders and stuff like that. It's just bizarre and wonderful world of the Tick. Right, shall we head to ratings then?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Tick. Evil sits down for a moment. Thumbs up. Spoon. Thumbs down. Marriage. And shaky middle. Is she a villain?
Yeah.
Is she
a hero?
The Ottoman Empire. Good, bad, on the fence. So, where do you sit on the Tick?
Well, I did enjoy watching it. It was fun. It's very silly, which I enjoy. It's I mean, like it's the superhero thing, but it's definitely not what you conventionally used to.
It's its own.
Yeah, it's its own.
I mean, there's loads of superhero satires. Yeah. So for it to be its own thing in that is quite impressive.
That's it. And I think I just enjoy how odd some of the ideas are.
Yeah.
That are, these are some things take it to the other extreme and don't really iron out the weirdness to the point where, like we said, you're just what is going on here?
Yeah.
But then this is in its own sort of really comfortable middle ground where it's just this is stupid, but it's just you're laughing at, you're too busy laughing at it to sort of
to realise.
Yeah, almost, to realise. Yeah. And so it does have it's a very particular feel about it, and one which is definitely it's definitely worth watching. So yeah, for me it's a thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Yep, thumbs up for me. No real mystery in today's reviews, but I do love it. I like that it has. I mean, the good thing about a lot of superhero stuff, especially if you're really into it, you look at Batman, there's Gotham City and all the characters in that, and there's so many, and that's what's so good about it. Superman's got Metropolis and the same sort of thing. Spider-Man, New York, all these, Vulture, Doc Ock, and all these weird characters. But it feels like they've got their own little world and all these characters in it. And there's a lot of characters, you can really get to know them all, and that's what's fun about it. And the Tick does that really well, which a lot of things don't tend to. I don't feel like, especially when they're spoofing. Yeah, they miss that aspect because they're just too busy making fun of all the other aspects of it. So that's wicked. But yeah, the Tick for me it's one of my favourite. Yeah. Anyway, so it was always going to be a thumbs up, really. Yeah. I knew it was. I've seen it all, but yeah, really good. And I suppose if you've watched it and you too, I would highly recommend the live action series, both the current one and the previous one. They're all on Amazon Prime, or probably DVD or something. Yeah, definitely worth watching. Yeah,
and it's the same type of humour.
Same type of humour, but they're all different sort of versions. I know the newer one is a bit more sort of establishing the world, so there's not as much of this stuff in it, but it's getting there, sort of thing. Whereas the 2001 series is more just this world exists.
Yeah.
You're thrown in the middle of it. You've got
That's it.
similar things, but I mean they take aspects of it, but they do change it for the show.
Yeah.
So like Deflator Mouse is Batman well.
Yeah. Who's
so-
equally as
Yeah.
weird and funny.
Yeah. Possibly funnier to be honest. But yeah, give them a watch because they're definitely worth it. And they're all done by Ben Edlund as well. So
yeah, that's a good thing.
and especially like I think the 2001 is a lot of just the same people that did the animated series and stuff. So definitely worth looking at. But I think the new one is as well. I think there's a lot of stuff worth visiting if you're into that.
Yeah. If you're not, then
you're not, then well,
fine.
I see. Get back to DuckTales then. Yeah, so I guess that's everything.
Yeah.
We've covered the Tick. It was a pleasurable experience.
Yeah.
And we barely even scraped the surface. There's that many characters.
That's it.
Sewer urchin.
Maybe one day someone will request us to go
one.
back and do another episode.
And that's a good point. Any requests, throw them our way.
Yeah.
We're always happy to either revisit or visit new shows that we might not have covered before.
Yeah. Whether you love it or hate it.
Yeah.
If you think
something's so bad
that
you want everyone to know, let us know.
Let us know.
We'll see if we agree. Odds are we probably will. But yeah, I suppose then.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening to Toon Jam. And if you want to continue to help us out, you can help us by jumping over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/toonjampod. And if you can rate and review us everywhere you listen to your podcasts, so on iTunes or on the Android apps, that'll be a massive help too. Thank you, and stay jammy.